Hey everybody. Okay, so it's my turn to tell you my beliefs. And before I start, I just want to tell you that they're my beliefs. I don't enforce them on anybody, and I don't expect or desire to have anybody force their beliefs on me. Now, I was raised Southern Baptist and Methodist, and those are about as different as you can get. So, I basically attended the Methodist church in my town until I was about 17 or 18. We didn't go like every Sunday by any means. We went on important holidays and once in a while. And when I went and visited my grandparents, that's when we went to a Southern Baptist church. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I hated the rules. I hated the fact that, I couldn't be a kid and I had to act a certain way, and because my parents didn't take me to church a whole lot and didn't really talk to me about church a whole lot, like about who Jesus is and who God is, even though I did go through Sunday school and vacation Bible school and everything. But, I had lots of questions. So I would ask the pastor, and, certain questions like, how do you know Jesus and God existed? Or, why did, the Bible say this? Or why does the Bible say that? Or, and because, I'm a pretty smart person, and if you read the Bible and, take it word for word, basically it says that, in parts of it, I'm not going to quote, like, scripture or anything. Dear Lord, no, my God. But, I don't know the Bible all that well. I do know it well, but not all that well. And I do know John 3:16, though. But that's because it was beaten in my head by my dad and my grandpa and pastor and everybody. But anyways, off topic. I do know that in the Bible it does say that raping your daughter, allowing your daughter to be raped and molested is okay. In fact, I believe, if I'm incorrect, don't correct me, because honestly I don't really care, but there is a book in the Bible, I believe it was Michael, I want to say, who sold his daughter into, I guess you could call it slavery, for, like, sheep or something like that. I think that's how it is, if I remember correctly. And basically, to buy the daughter, the man who wanted her, who was selling the sheep, the man who wanted her had to not only rape her, that's like the best way I can put it. He didn't make love to her, they didn't have enjoyous sex. He raped her. And to prove, he did it to prove to the father that he was worthy of the daughter. Imagine that. Think of how that would go over in today's society if, but anyways. So, yeah. So I had lots of questions, and nobody ever could answer them. They were pretty in-depth questions. I don't think that I'm going to take the time right now to tell you all of them. But, they were pretty in-depth questions. So for a long time, I would say from about 18 to, like, 23, 24, I was very much, like, atheist. People would say, well, what's your religion? I'm atheist. Don't you believe in God? No. Because, one, I was mad at God for some things. When I was 19, no. When I was 18, I met a guy who became my boyfriend, and we dated for like 4 years. And, we did things that normal people do when they date. We had sex, we had fun, and he asked me to marry him, and I agreed. I really, truly loved him, and I thought that he loved me, and, he was a foreigner. He wasn't from the United States. and we met in probably not a conventional way. But I mean, I was young, I was stupid, I was from a little town that, you know, very close-minded and I very much grew up in a bubble, let me put it that way. So I didn't know better. I didn't know his motives, per se. So, to make a really long story short, he ended up doing some things that were unforgivable, in my view, and he took from me a really precious gift that it was mine to give to somebody of my choice, and I didn't have the choice. So, I mean, that was kind of a contention between us, and it was a pretty low point in my life. So, I just couldn't believe that if there really was a God, that he would allow this person to come into my life and treat me like this. You know, I mean, God's supposed to love his children, and I thought that I was one of his children, and God was supposed to, you know, if you ask for forgiveness, he'll give you forgiveness. Well, I don't think that some people deserve forgiveness. Like, people who hurt children, like abusive or, you know, rapists, child molesters, murderers, I don't think that they should be forgiven by God. But according to the Bible, you know, if you ask, he will give. I have a problem with that. And in some ways, I still do have a problem with that, you know, some 3 years later. But anyways, so, yeah. So I had problems, and my parents weren't exactly proud of the fact that, you know, I was, like, doing a whole 180 from what I was brought up. And that's okay. You know, I mean, they still loved me. They just didn't really understand, and, you know, but, I mean, you know, what can you do? So anyways, the past 3 years or so, I've been kind of doing some soul searching, and my life got way off track. Like, I mean, the past 6-7 years of my life have been so traumatic, so terrible. I mean, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And so I thought, okay, well, maybe since my life before I was 18 was pretty good, and my life after I was 18, the past 7 years or so, has sucked, maybe it's a sign that I need to get back into religion and find out what it means to me. You know, not take my parents' views, but carve out my own little niche in the religious society. So that's what I've been trying to do. I started going to, like, a non-denominational church before I moved, when I lived up in Illinois. And I loved it. Like, I mean, it fit me. I mean, I've never, like, felt so, like, energized after going to church. Like, normally I go to church, I'm like, oh my God, is it over with? This is so boring. Here, it was just like, oh my God, it's over with? Oh my God, I can't believe it. You know, it went so fast. Oh my God, it's been like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Wow, you know, like, I feel so spiritually energized. And then I decided to move, to go back to school. So I moved to southern Alabama, to the dirty South, the deep South. I guess you call it the Bible Belt South. Since our church is on, like, every corner, literally. But, so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try to find a church like my old church. And I found one that was, like, a lot smaller, but the same concept. And I didn't like it. You know, I don't know if it was because